The sky above the alien council planet was quiet. Too quiet. The great species of the galaxy had gathered to meet the humans. Tall, proud warriors of the Zenari stood in polished armor. The insect-like Narathi buzzed nervously. Even the cold-blooded Tyrax had brought their best generals. Everyone waited at the landing zone, their eyes watching the sky. A peace meeting was planned. A new alliance was to be made. They had called Earth to the table. Expecting diplomats, expecting soft voices and slow talks. But what came from the stars was something else. A large black ship appeared in orbit. No lights, no sounds. Just a cold metal shadow moving like a ghost. The alien generals looked at each other. No greetings were sent, no landing request made. The ship simply descended. Slowly, silently. As if it did not care who waited below. The Zenari general felt something strange in his chest. Fear. The Narathi queen whispered, "Why? No message?" But no one had an answer. The ship landed hard. The ground shook. The air turned heavy. A long ramp lowered. Smoke hissed out from the sides. Figures appeared, tall, armored, silent. Their armor was black, their faces hidden behind steel. No one moved, not even the wind. The lead human walked forward, step by step, heavy boots touching alien soil for the first time. He didn't stop, didn't bow, didn't greet. Behind him, more soldiers followed. Not diplomats, not scientists. But soldiers, ready, watching, prepared for war. The alien council leader stepped forward. He raised his voice. "We welcome the humans of Earth to the Grand Council. We are here to discuss peace and..." The human cut him off. With one slow movement, he removed his helmet. A human face, cold and calm, stared back at the galaxy's most powerful leaders. His voice was quiet, but every ear heard it clearly. "We're not here to talk." Silence. Then whispers. Shock. Confusion. The Zenari general stepped back. The Tyrak commander narrowed his eyes. The Narathi queen clicked her claws. "Is this a joke?" someone said, but the humans didn't laugh. The human leader looked around. His eyes, sharp like knives, met the eyes of every alien. "You called us for help," he said. "You said you were losing the war. You begged Earth to join." The alien council leader nodded. "Yes, we asked for alliance, for support." The human's face didn't change. "But now we're here, and we don't play by your rules." Behind him, the soldiers stood still, like statues of war. The human continued. "We don't waste time with talks. We end problems. We dominate threats. And we do not wait for permission." The alien leaders were stunned. This was not how meetings were done. This was not diplomacy. This was a warning. Suddenly, one of the humans raised a small device. A hologram appeared in the air. It showed battle footage. Alien planets under attack by the enemy species, the Zarnax. Whole cities burned, armies crushed. The aliens had been losing, badly, but then the image changed. Now, human ships were shown, fast, precise, deadly. In just seconds, Zarnax warships exploded. Human ground forces landed and wiped out entire bases in minutes. The message was clear. The human leader looked at them again. "You didn't invite allies. You called the monsters you didn't understand. And now, you'll learn what we are." The Narathi queen whispered, "This is not what we expected." The human turned to her. "No, it never is." He looked to the sky. "Our fleets arrive tomorrow. The war begins then. Stay out of our way." The aliens stood in silence. The humans turned and marched back to their ship, leaving behind only fear. Inside the alien council chamber that night, arguments broke out. Some said the humans must be stopped. Others said they were the only hope. The Zenari general slammed his fist. "They are not allies, they are conquerors." The Tyrak commander whispered. Maybe. That's what we need. Far above, in orbit, more human ships appeared. Hundreds. Thousands. A shadow fell over the alien worlds. And with it, a message not spoken in words, but in presence. The humans had arrived, and they didn't come to negotiate. They came to dominate. The galaxy would never be the same again. The alien council was shaken. The arrival of the humans was not what they had expected. No soft talks, no peaceful handshake, only silence, weapons, and cold eyes. That night, the alien leaders met in secret. Fear hung in the air like smoke. They didn't even ask for chairs, said the Zenari general. They didn't need them, answered the Tyrak commander. They already decided who's in charge. The Narathi queen clicked her claws. They don't follow rules. They follow only strength. As the leaders argued far above the planet, the human flagship floated like a black mountain in space. Inside, the human commander stood in front of a large screen. He was watching the same videos again and again. Alien cities burning. The enemy, Zarnax, spreading fast. Billions dead. The galaxy had begged Earth to help, but they didn't know the cost. The door opened. A human officer stepped in. Sir, the Alien Council is requesting a meeting. They want to talk. Again, the commander gave a cold smile. Let them wait. The next day, the council chamber was full. The humans entered again. Same armor. Same silence. No smiles. The human commander walked to the center. He didn't sit. He stood tall, like a judge about to speak. You want peace? He said. Then listen carefully. Everyone leaned forward. He raised one finger. We do not come as your friends. We do not come for respect. We come because you have failed. You lost your control. You lost your power. And now, you want humans to fix your mess. The alien leaders stayed quiet. You invited us because the Zarnax were winning, he continued. You thought humans would help you fight back. But Earth doesn't fight back. Earth takes over. The Narathi queen looked nervous. Then what do you want from us? The human commander's voice turned sharp. We don't want seats on your council. We don't want votes. We want full control of the war. All fleets, all weapons, all decisions. From now on, the galaxy fights under human command. Shocked gasps filled the room. You're asking us to surrender? Shouted the Zenari general. No, said the human. I'm giving you a choice. Follow our orders, or fight us next. The chamber went silent. The Tyrak commander looked around. And if we agree? Then we destroy the Zarnax, the human said. We burn their worlds, crush their leaders, and erase their name from the stars. And if we refuse? Asked another voice. The human stared at him. Then we test our weapons on your planets first. One by one, the alien leaders looked at each other. Fear, doubt, anger. But no one dared speak against the humans now. Then the human leader pressed a button on his wrist. A new hologram appeared. This time, it showed something different. A Zarnax outpost, fully armed, fully defended. Then, in just 18 seconds, a human strike team landed. The screen showed their movement, fast, perfect, no mistakes. In less than 2 minutes, the entire base was silent. Not one enemy left, not one human injured. The message was clear. We win wars before the enemy knows it started, said the human. That's the power Earth brings. He turned to leave. You have one day, agree to our terms, or get out of the way. As the humans left, the council chamber erupted. They're worse than the Zarnax, one alien shouted. But they can win, yelled another. The Zenari general slammed the table. This is not alliance. This is domination. The Tyrak commander said nothing. He only stared at the door where the humans had left. He saw something the others didn't. Something in the human commander's eyes. It was not hunger for power. It was something deeper. It was anger. Later that night, in a dark part of the city, a small group of alien spies met. One of them spoke in a low voice. We cannot let them take full control. Another one nodded. Let's send a secret message to the Zarnax. If they can kill one human leader, maybe the rest will break. But the humans were already watching, from orbit, from shadows. From behind walls, the human commander stood on the bridge of his ship. He looked down at the council planet. They think we don't know, he said. Let them try. He looked at his officers. Prepare for deployment. Tomorrow, we move. The humans didn't wait for approval. They didn't wait for votes. They just acted because humans weren't there to negotiate. They were there to dominate. The stars were still as the human fleet moved into position. Hundreds of warships spread across the galaxy like black arrows aimed at the heart of the enemy. The alien council watched from their command centers. They still could not believe what was happening. The humans had not waited for a final answer. They had already chosen. They were going to war. The target was a Zarnax stronghold, one of the biggest enemy bases, protected by shield satellites, turrets, and thousands of soldiers. No one had attacked it before. Everyone thought it was impossible to win. Even the Tyrak commander whispered, "The humans are too fast." They didn't even ask for support. Inside the human flagship, the commander stood tall. "Start Operation Iron Storm," he said. His officers didn't salute. They didn't cheer. They only obeyed. The fleet jumped. In seconds, the dark space near the enemy base lit up. Human ships arrived without warning. No greetings, no introductions. Only weapons ready to fire. The Zarnax were shocked. Their sensors beeped. Their alarms screamed. But it was already too late. The first wave of human missiles hit the outer shields. The second wave went straight for the defense cannons. Human. Drones flew into battle like swarms of angry hornets. Fast, silent, deadly. On the alien council world, live footage played. The alien leaders watched in silence. No one spoke. No one blinked. A single human ship flew through enemy fire. It dodged left, then right, then fired a beam that cut through two Zarnax cruisers like paper. The ship didn't slow down. It just kept moving forward. Then, the ground teams dropped. Black pods fell from orbit. Each one carried a team of human soldiers. The pods hit the ground hard. Dust and smoke rose. The Zarnax tried to prepare, but the humans moved too fast, too sharp, too precise. Inside one Zarnax bunker, the enemy commander shouted, "They are only a few dozen! We have thousands!" But numbers didn't matter. A human squad broke through the gate. Their weapons were quiet but deadly. No shouting, no fear, only trained action. The humans shot, moved, and cleared rooms in seconds. The Zarnax were not used to this kind of war. They panicked. On one screen, a single human soldier took down 20 Zarnax with just one plasma blade. He moved like a shadow. He was never hit. The battle was over in 12 minutes. 12, the strongest Zarnax base, gone, destroyed, not by a long siege, not by long planning, but by one human decision. The human commander stood on the broken remains of the enemy base. Smoke behind him, his armor still glowing from the heat of battle. He sent one message to the galaxy: "First strike successful, next target is bigger." The message was short, cold, final. The alien council could not believe it. The Zenari general looked sick. "This is power I have never seen," the Narathi queen whispered. "This is not help, this is control." The Tyrak commander stood up slowly. "And maybe that is exactly what we needed." But not everyone agreed. In another system, a group of angry alien leaders met in secret. "We cannot let humans take over the war alone," one said. "They make us look weak." Another nodded. "They must be stopped." Someone whispered, "Or maybe replaced." In the darkness, a plan was born, a plan to betray the humans. But they didn't know. Humans already expected it. On the human flagship, the commander looked at the star map. "They'll try something soon," he said. "They always do." His second-in-command asked, "Should we warn the council?" The commander shook his head. "No, let them think they're clever." He smiled slightly. "Let them walk into the trap." In the silence of space, the human fleet moved again. Fast. Silent. Ready. Because humans were not fighting for peace. They were fighting to dominate, and the war had only just begun. Far from the battlefield, in a hidden star system, 5 alien ships floated in silence. Inside them were leaders from different species: Zinari, Narathi, Velmari, and 2 others who had stayed quiet until now. They had come together not to plan against the Zarnax, but against the humans. "They are not allies," said the Zinari general. "They are conquerors. They destroyed the enemy base without us." "What happens when the war is over?" asked the Velmari admiral. "Do you think they will give back control?" The Narathi queen's voice was cold. "We asked them for help, but we invited a storm." Everyone in the room knew the truth. The humans were too strong, too fast, and too dangerous. So they made a secret plan. They would send fake information to the humans. A lie about a massive Zarnax fleet hidden near the edge of the dead zone, a lifeless part of the galaxy. The goal was simple: lead the human fleet into a trap. Let them be attacked by both Zarnax and traitor ships from the Council species. They believed if enough humans died, the rest would back away. Earth would retreat. Control would return in the Council. But they made one mistake. They thought humans didn't know. On the human flagship, the commander sat in his war room, studying the same map the traitors had marked. A young officer stood beside him. "Sir, we confirmed the message. It's false. The fleet doesn't exist." The commander didn't look surprised. "Of course it's false. The real question is, who thinks we're stupid enough to fall for it?" He stood slowly. "They want to trap us. Good. We'll walk into it." "But sir, why?" The commander smiled. "Because they don't know who's really setting the trap." Orders were sent, quietly. Human ships adjusted course, not toward the fake Zarnax base, but around it. They would let the betrayers come close, thinking the plan was working, then strike. The next day, the human fleet arrived near the dead zone. On the other side of the system, Council warships waited in hiding. The traitors watched their sensors. "They're here, just like we planned." The Zinari general gave the signal. "Launch the attack!" Suddenly, weapons lit up in space. Missiles, beams, and torpedoes flew toward the human ships. But something was wrong. The human ships didn't move. They didn't fire back. They weren't real. The ships hit only metal, shells, decoys. At that same moment, the real human fleet uncloaked behind the traitors. They had circled the system in silence. Not one alarm was triggered, and now they were right behind the enemy. The human commander gave one order: "End it." In just 90 seconds, 3 of the 5 council fleets were destroyed. The rest tried to escape, but human fighters were faster. One by one, traitor ships exploded in the void. On the Zinari flagship, alarms screamed. The general shouted, "How did they know?" Then the screen in front of him flickered. The face of the human commander appeared. "You betrayed us," the human said calmly. "Now you learn what that costs." "No, wait!" the general screamed. Too late. A human torpedo hit the engine room. The screen went black. Back on the human flagship, the commander watched the battle reports. "Traitors removed," said his officer. The commander nodded. "Send a message to the rest of the council." "Yes, sir." "What should it say?" The commander spoke clearly. "We knew, we watched, we waited, and now we warn you, try it again and we won't be this merciful." The message was sent. Across the galaxy, council members watched it in fear. No one spoke. No one dared. The humans had not just crushed an enemy, they had crushed a secret betrayal before it even began. Later, in private meetings, the alien leaders argued. We should have never crossed them. They knew everything. They're everywhere. The Tyrak commander, who had stayed loyal, finally spoke. "You tried to outsmart a predator. But humans are not just smart. They're always 3 steps ahead. The others stayed quiet. Above in orbit, the human fleet rested. Their weapons were powered down, but every ship was ready. The commander stood at the window looking at the stars. "They wanted to test us," he whispered. "Now they know." The humans had come not to negotiate, not to share control. They had come to dominate, and they were just getting started. The galaxy was quiet, for a while. After the betrayal, no one dared to challenge the humans. The alien council followed orders. The fleets obeyed human commands. The war seemed to be going one way. Earth was leading, and it was winning, but far. Beyond the known stars, deep in the blackest part of space, something old was waking up. Inside a dying sun system, the Zarnax had built their darkest secret, a machine world hidden inside a star's shadow. No one had seen it. No signal ever escaped it. But now, the Zarnax leaders gathered there, not to plan a battle, but to unleash their final weapon. "We lost many worlds," hissed the Zarnax Prime. "We lost fleets, but we still have it." Other Zarnax commanders hissed back in agreement. A giant metal door opened. Behind it was something not alive, but not fully dead either. It was a living ship, a monster mixed with machine, created long ago during the First War. The Zarnax called it the Devourer, 10 times bigger than the human flagship, covered in dark armor that healed itself. Inside it lived a mind made for one thing: destruction. The Devourer had slept for thousands of years. Now it opened its eyes, and it was hungry. The Zarnax sent it toward the front lines, alone. No army, no escorts, just one massive creature flying through space like a silent death. On the human command ship, alarms rang. A scout drone had picked up something. Unknown class, size too large, moving too fast. The commander stared at the screen. "Zoom in." The image showed the Devourer slowly crossing the stars. One officer whispered, "Sir, that thing is huge." Another said, "It's heading straight for our base on Delta 9. The human commander stayed calm. "How long?" 30 hours. The commander gave the order. "Evacuate Delta 9. Get everyone out. Prepare defense lines." The officers obeyed, but fear was growing. Even they had never seen something like this. 30 hours later, the Devourer arrived. The sky above Delta 9 turned black. The stars disappeared behind its body. The planets, gravity shook. Human ships opened fire. Everything they had, missiles, beams, railguns, nothing worked. The Devourer swallowed the blasts like fireflies. Then it struck back. It didn't shoot weapons. It became a weapon. Its mouth opened wide, too wide. A beam of dark energy came out, not light, not heat, just pure, silent death. Half the planet cracked. One human dreadnought tried to ram it. The Devourer caught it mid-space and crushed it like a tin can. The base on Delta 9 was gone, and now the creature turned toward the next human base. On the flagship, the crew watched in horror. For the first time, they saw something Earth might not be able to stop. "Sir, what do we do?" asked an officer. The commander stared at the screen. Then he said 2 words: "We adapt." He called his top engineers, top scientists, and top tacticians. For 6 hours, no one slept. No one ate. Everyone worked. One scientist said, "It's not just metal, it's alive, but it's also controlled." Another added, "There's a signal inside, some kind of command core." The commander nodded. "We don't kill it with power. We kill it with precision." He gave the new order. Operation Needle Strike, a small team, 1 stealth ship, infiltrate the Devourer, get inside, destroy the core. It was a suicide mission, and 1 man stepped forward. "I'll lead the team," said Captain Riker. The commander looked at him. "You understand what this means?" Riker smiled. "If we don't stop that thing, no one else can. 6 soldiers, 1 stealth ship, no backup." They launched in silence. As the Devourer approached the next human colony, the tiny human ship flew under it, too small to notice. They entered through a crack in the armor. Inside, it was dark and alive, like a breathing metal tunnel. The team moved fast. No words, only signals. They found the core, a pulsing brain made of wires and light, but it was protected. Zarnak's machines crawled along the walls. They attacked without warning. One soldier was taken, another injured, but Riker kept going. He reached the core, placed the bomb, set the timer. The team ran back through the burning tunnels. Metal screamed. Lights flashed. The Devourer roared for the first time. Then, a silent flash. The core exploded. Far above the colony, the monster froze. Its eyes dimmed. Its body stopped, and then it fell. The ground shook as the massive body crashed into a dead moon. The galaxy watched in silence. The humans had done the impossible. Again. But the commander did not smile. He looked at the stars. "They're getting desperate," he said. "That means the next move will be worse." The war was far from over, and the humans weren't done dominating yet. The Devourer was dead. Its giant body floated in space, broken and cold. The galaxy had watched the fall. Every species saw the truth. Humans had done what no one else could, but the war was not over. The Zarnaks were still alive. And now, they were angry. In the deepest parts of space, the Zarnaks gathered what was left of their strength. Hundreds of ships, thousands of soldiers, a massive final army. They knew they were losing. They had lost worlds, fleets, and even their secret weapon. But they still had one last chance, their home world, Zarn Prime. A dark, deadly planet full of poison clouds and metal towers. No one had ever invaded it. No one had ever returned from it. It was more than a planet. It was a fortress. And the Zarnaks were ready to make their last stand. The human high command met on their flagship. The commander stood in front of a map of Zarn Prime. "This is it," he said. "We take their home. We end the war." "But it won't be easy," said his second-in-command. "They know we're coming. They'll throw everything at us." "But what?" Commander nodded. "Then we throw it back harder." The plan was simple but deadly. The largest human fleet ever assembled would attack Zarn Prime from orbit. At the same time, elite soldiers would land on the surface and strike at the command core, the heart of the Zarnak's war system. If they destroyed it, the Zarnaks would be finished. The fleet launched. Thousands of human ships moved like a wave of steel. Every engine burned bright. Every weapon was ready. As they reached the Zarnak system, the enemy fleet appeared, black and red ships, sharp like blades, ready to die. The sky became fire. Human and Zarnak ships clashed in space. Missiles flew like falling stars. Lasers cut across darkness. Explosions lit up the void. From a distance, it looked like a second sun had been born. Below, the planet shook. Zarnak's cannons fired from the ground. Giant defense towers blasted at the sky, but the humans kept coming. One squad of human drop pods pierced through the clouds. Inside them were soldiers who had trained for one mission only: reach the Zarnak's command tower and end the war. The moment they landed, chaos began. Zarnak's creatures attacked from every direction. The ground was full of traps. The air was poison. But the humans moved fast, like machines. Each soldier had one goal: no fear, no retreat. Captain Riker, still alive after the Devourer mission, led the charge. "We finish this," he said, "no matter what." They moved through fire, bullets, and acid rain. One by one, soldiers were hit, but the line never broke. They reached the main tower. It was over 300 meters tall, covered in black glass and living metal. Inside was the brain of the Zarnak's war system, the last hope of their enemy. The team entered. The halls were dark, hot. Breathing Zarnak's guards attacked with claws and plasma, but the humans moved faster, smarter, deadlier. They fought up every floor. room by room, step by step, until only a few soldiers remained. Captain Riker and two others reached the core chamber. There it was, the command brain, glowing, pulsing, connected to every Zarnax ship and base. The final defense was strong. Blades, shot from walls, lasers turned on. The last Zarnax elite unit attacked. One soldier was lost. Then another, Riker, reached the core. He pulled the trigger. Boom! The core exploded in a blinding light. A shockwave spread across the entire tower. In space, Zarnax ships suddenly froze. Their systems went dark. Their weapons stopped. Human ships moved in. They destroyed the fleet without mercy. On the planet, Zarnax soldiers screamed and collapsed. Their minds were broken. Their system was dead. And finally, the war was over. Riker limped out of the burning tower. His armor was cracked. His face burned. But he was alive. He looked up at the human flag now standing on top of the enemy world, and he smiled. The human commander watched from orbit. He sent one message to the galaxy. The enemy is broken. The war is won! Across the stars, species cheered, but deep inside they also felt something else. Fear, because they had seen what humans could do. They hadn't just survived the war, they had ended it, on their terms, without asking, without permission, and now the galaxy waited in silence. What would the humans do next? The war was over. Zarn Prime was silent. The once deadly homeworld of the Zarnax now belonged to Earth. Its towers had fallen. Its armies had vanished. Smoke still rose from the command tower where Captain Riker had ended it all. Across the galaxy, people watched in silence. Screens showed the human flag rising on Zarn Prime. News spread faster than light. The humans have won, but that was only the beginning. Inside the main council station, once the seat of power for hundreds of alien species, leaders gathered. The room was full, but no one spoke. Everyone waited, then heavy footsteps echoed through the hall. The humans had arrived. Led by the same commander who had taken Earth to victory, they walked in without fear. No guards, no words of greeting, just quiet power. He stopped at the center of the chamber. "Let's not waste time," the human said. "We didn't come here to shake hands." One alien leader tried to stand. "But this council," the commander raised his hand. "This council failed. You begged us for help then, betrayed us. You hid while we bled, and still, we won." Silence. He looked around the room. "We didn't come to join your old system. We came to build a new one." Another voice tried to interrupt. "You want control over everything?" The commander gave a cold smile. "No, we already have it." Pressed a button. All around the galaxy, human ships came out of stealth, orbiting council planets, standing over military bases, floating near government buildings. It wasn't war. It was a message. "We are watching. From now on," the commander continued, "there will be peace, because if there's not, we will bring it by force." "You mean rule by fear?" an alien asked, trying to sound brave. "No," the human said. "Rule by results. No more waiting while enemies grow. No more hiding behind talks. If a threat rises, we end it. Fast. Like we ended the Zarnax." The room stayed quiet. No one argued, because no one could. The humans hadn't asked for trust. They had earned respect the hard way, through fire, pain, and unstoppable will. Later, as the humans walked out of the chamber, some alien leaders whispered, "Is this the end of freedom?" Another replied, "No, this is the start of order." On Earth, celebrations filled the cities. Families who had lost loved ones cried and cheered. The war was over. And humanity had not just survived, it had risen. Captain Riker stood at a ceremony, now a legend across dozens of worlds. Children pointed at him. Soldiers saluted him, but he didn't smile. He remembered every friend who didn't make it. They didn't die for power. he told a reporter. They died so the galaxy would never see another Zarnax. The human commander gave one last broadcast to every species. Earth is not here to take what you have. We are here to stop what almost destroyed us all. You want to live in peace? We will protect it. But if anyone threatens that peace, we will respond. Without warning. Across the stars, things changed fast. Crime dropped. Pirate fleets vanished. Border wars ended. Not because of peace treaties, but because every system knew Earth was watching. They weren't negotiators. They were dominators. And under their silent rule, the galaxy entered a new age, an age without fear, an age where no enemy dared to rise. And so, the story spread. The one species aliens refused to fight twice, the one race that turned defeat into domination. The name whispered in every shadow: humans.